All right, Frank, we are live.
Ready to rock and roll. Another episode.
Yes. I'm just making sure that we are live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. It looks like we are live. Roxanne, team, yes, we are live. Awesome. We got it again. Frank, how are you, my friend?
Good, thank you.
I'm happy to hear that.
I'm just looking through a few notes, just bringing a few things together, which just want to share some news with the people and explain what's going on, which is pretty exciting stuff for our client, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. I am excited to do this one because this is, I mean, the headline is cool, but it's like every single client, it means something to us, right? Because it is a 24-year-old who purchased one property now just this week, has gone, yep, let's rock and roll, and has jumped on board again for property number 2. So she's going to be 26, 27 and purchasing 2 assets, which is going to be worth $1 million. $1 million by 27 years old. It's pretty impressive. But this is a bit of a different one to our last few. This is not a multiple time purchase. We're now just on the second, which is still absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's I'm excited. I'm ready to roll.
Awesome.
Can we just get everyone who's here we are live, just a thumbs up, just to kind of confirm that we are live, and then we'll wait for people to jump on because there's still a few minutes.
How many people are on? I can't see, to be honest, because I'm not on Facebook.
There's only a few. Well, it has just turned 6 o'clock, so we will wait and see who's jumping on and who's not. But there's 2 to 3, I think. Now we'll wait for the others to jump on. But I'm excited for this one. So just to give you guys a bit of background information on this, the person, this is Courtney, who we have been doing an analysis on today. She actually she worked at a brokerage firm that we still today send hundreds and hundreds of clients to every single year. So Courtney worked there, doesn't work there anymore. She was there for a couple of years, and obviously she saw a lot of properties come through. She saw a lot of deals come through. They had worked with other buyers agencies as well, or seen other buyers agencies, and she made the executive decision to say, I'm going to go work with Fresh Start. So it's always nice when a professional decides to work with us. And when I say professional in the space, and then to do what we've done, and then for her to now say, hang on, I'm doing that again. Obviously something's gone very, very right for her to make those now 2 decisions. So that's what we're going to be breaking down today. We're going to be breaking down her first property. We're also going to be breaking down her second purchase and what we're going to be looking for Courtney, 27 years old. All right?
Definitely.
Awesome. I might wait a few minutes for a few more people to jump on. Just because, we're on 6:01. There we go. We've got a few people coming on now. Beautiful. We are live. We've got thumbs up. We've got fireworks. We've got all the rest of it. Frank, do you want to, before we get into it, anything that you do want to talk about the upcoming property or the next property? I know there is a little secret in today's session. When I say a little secret region. You want to touch on anything about that? While I close my door.
Not the secret region. I'm gonna keep it private. Reason why? It's a new region that we're investing in at the moment. Different state. I don't think there's probably no buyers agents there. Worked pretty hard to get it, and it wouldn't be nice that clients are paying us to use our service and then give that away at this point. So I won't reveal the new location, but the strategy. It's going to be something, I guess, quite. I'm not going to say it's the same. It's quite unique. Not I wouldn't say unique. It's going to be but this strategy will resonate with people that are starting out. Okay, and it's their first time investing. Courtney, is just started her journey. Okay, I don't know exactly. I know exactly what she earns, but I'm not going to say. But she's near the average wage of the Australian average wage, just probably a little bit of the higher end. And so for people watching, starting out, thinking, oh, it's unaffordable to get into property. Courtney did it. And, in a short period of time, she's released the equity and gone again. The cool thing that she did was she put, I think it was a 3 or 5% deposit down on this property. Okay. She didn't have she didn't have a 10% or she didn't have a 20%. She put I think it was a 3 or 5%. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay. Which is unbelievable because the property in a short period of time has appreciated so much. She's taken all this equity out, and it's literally going to be enough for a 10% deposit for the next property.
Yep. Awesome. I will try and do God's work and try and get the region out for everyone. I'll play good cop. Frank can play bad cop and try and hold the information. We'll see how we go with this one. But
I'll give the region out for the first property, not the second.
You're getting soft on me. You're getting really soft on me, bud. What's going on?
I just have to, mate. I can't. It's policy. Otherwise, something's going to happen to me, and I might go missing.
I don't know who.
I don't want to talk too much. You know what I mean?
Let's rock and roll. All right. I don't know who's going to go. Yeah, people are getting a bit scared from that comment. Come on, Frankie. All right, let's rock and roll. So, this is Courtney. Pretty simple. She came to us at 24 years old. And as I said, she was working in a brokerage firm, and she purchased her first property, which we are going to show you very, very quickly. It is no longer attainable at $389,000. But Frank, give us a spiel. What was the property?
So we bought this beautiful home. As you can see, very affordable price, a 4x2x2. Okay, so 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2 car garage, over 600 square meters. It's a pretty modern property. I think it's 2012. Okay, built. So got good depreciation, but once again, we don't invest in property because of depreciation. We invest in property because of growth and rental growth. And so, it's done extremely well. Okay, great area. This property is in Gladstone, Queensland. Okay, in a suburb called Calliope. Calliope is not in the inner suburb of Gladstone. It's actually, I think it's about a 20-minute drive out of Gladstone, part of the Gladstone region still. People get a bit scared and go, oh, it's not in the hub, where the university is in Gladstone and the port and all the jobs and all the amenities. But there is a brand new high school that got built in Calliope. It's developing, it's growing, it's expanding. The income levels are very, very strong. Actually, probably more stronger in Calliope than other areas in the inner suburbia of Gladstone. The market's doing extremely well from capital growth perspective. I'm not going to mention because we're going to get people to be guessing what the value has grown to. But this bank val, what I will say, it's super conservative compared to what if she if she had to sell this property, because this property would go for a lot more than what that bank val would. So it's done well. This is a property that suits a first-time investor that doesn't know too much about property, doesn't understand about investing, just wants something buy, set, and forget. What I will say, to buy property at this price in this condition these days, you're not looking nowhere near at this price anymore.
Yep. When we got into this, so just a bit of background, right? Frank has been harping on about Gladstone for now 2 years. So we actually got into Gladstone 2 years ago. I don't know if you'd say that we got in there too early, but we definitely got in there when prices were at 300, 320, 330. There's been a bit of data. You guys probably, if anyone's watching and watches, our day-to-day socials, there's a bit of data that we've been throwing around of what Gladstone has done. Gladstone in the last quarter was the highest growing regional city in the country. It grew by almost 10% last quarter. almost by 10% last quarter. So that's more than what the average Australian property grows in a year. That's what it did in a quarter. So yeah, you are going to see from this buying properties at 389,000 in the region of Gladstone is absolutely unattainable. However, this is the beauty of getting into a region right at the prime time. To be honest with you, we were kind of concerned, and I guess even some of our clients, they did get into this region and there wasn't, when I say exceptional growth, I'm just trying to think, Frank, of Valerie's property, what it would have grown by in the first year. It was about 12% in the first 12 months. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, which is still fantastic. Okay,
yes.
People.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, it grew by 12% in 12 months, right? And we went, oh, that's decent. That's not bad. But 12% in 12 months is obviously double the Australian average. For our, on our average, it's obviously not blown out of the park 25, 30%. But that is because you got in there, and part of your research, you got in there really, really early. I think you're probably 6 months, 12 months early, which is an awesome time to get into there. Now Gladstone is going to start doing some massive things. Okay, cool. Frank, I know you said you don't want to give away the region. I'm not going to make you give away the region because I can see your face. You're already upset. What if someone gets exactly on the price of how much this property is worth today? Can we give that one person the region privately?
Geez, you're really pushing me here.
Come on.
Paper, scissors, rock.
No one's got time. Paper, scissors, rock. That's what we're doing.
Let's do it. One person
gets exactly on the price of what this property is worth today. Frank, when did we buy the property and how long ago?
Bought this property. Let me bring it up right now. We bought this. We settled in September. Sorry, not September. June 2023.
Okay.
Last year.
Guys, far away. Frank is going to not announce, but whoever gets the right amount, June 2023, we purchased it in the hottest region in the country, or one of, early. We also, this region just did 10% growth in the last 3 months. What do you think this property is worth? What he's going to give away is literally worth potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're going to get it for free if you pick exactly what the price is today. Far away in the comments. Shoot. I'll wait. 10% and a bomb. Come on, guys. I'm waiting. Shoot. 550, Brian. I like it. What else have we got? I actually don't know the price of this, so it's going to actually be interesting. It's also exciting for me. Come on, guys. What do we got? We have not announced this new region to pretty much anyone. We've obviously buying for some of our clients. 525, Matthew. 520, Aaron. Beautiful. This is a region that I think is probably, Frank, I don't know if you're as confident or as bullish as what you are with Gladdy, but you'd probably say that, we are early in there. And what are signs of being early? Like things that outside of a data point, what are signs that you are too early? I think Austin mentioned one the other day. What are those signs?
So one sign is that you're going to look at prices that online. Asking price might be, say, $450. Okay, properties aren't selling at $450, probably selling below the asking. Properties will stay on the market for a little bit longer than usual. There's probably no other buyers agents in there or other competition. And so you got more time to play and run around and put multiple offers out on more properties or, have a bit more time to do more DD on the property. So we're pretty early in this market, which is great. Being early to a lot of markets, like you said, Gladstone. And Gladstone, still did well, but it was we could move around and do whatever we want back in the day, which was pretty fun and cool, and picked up some pretty awesome properties. I think I bought my mama property there for a duplex, similar condition to Courtney's. I paid, I think, $450. Great property, and that thing's renting out, I think, $700 a week now. So, it's done pretty well, and I think it was medium density zoning as well, like a different zoning to this low density. So it means I can develop on it. So these are things like you can do more things when you're in a market early and you get into the right market. So we're now Gladstone, it's just super hot. Okay. And it's hard for someone just trying to start out investing and try and do it itself because you've got so much competition at the moment.
Yep. What I was, and sorry, we have got all the answers. So now I'm just prolonging this, and there's probably no need. But what the thing I was actually trying to look for is there's not other buyers agents in the market. I think that's probably one of the biggest, things that is not really a data. It's not a data-driven response, but we see it, right? We can go into this region and we can actually buy property at the price, and we are actually getting, and there's not 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 people competing with the same property. People will look at property, they'll go, oh, let me look at it. Let me spend a week doing it. Now, we know from a data perspective, all the things stack up. We know this thing's about to blow, but it's very, very nice from our end and our clients' end. But anyway, no more talking. We've got some awesome answers in. 550, 525, 450, 535. It's been, a year worth of growth. Let's have a look at it. The number is 490. There we go. We can't hand it out to anyone who didn't get the exact answer, but there you go. 26% growth in 14 months. 26% growth in 14 months. Now, I think what threw everyone out here is the fact that the region has done 10% in the last quarter. I want to reiterate, we got into this region pretty early. We got into this region 18 months ago, 2 years ago, essentially. We had 10% growth over that first kind of year. We've now had 15% over the last year, and now this is where this thing's really going to go berserk. But that's what it is. Do you want to talk us through it, Frank?
Yeah. So with this property here, if we had to sell this property, we'll probably get close to 550 easy. So bank values, as we all know, always under market to what the current market is doing, which is quite normal. But the rent as well for Courtney is going to be increasing also. It's going to be around, I think, in the 500s. So, this property, the rental yield is just going to go even higher again. So you're going to see that 5.6% rental yield increase dramatically with a huge increase. I think it's nearly $100 that she's increasing it by. So the rental market's doing extremely well. And of course, like you said, capital growth, that's been the outlier in the last 3 months, which was pretty cool to see also.
Yeah. So that's in the entire of the country. The entire country is, Gladstone has been the best performer, which is absolutely epic. I think what did throw people out, and again, apologies, is the 10% growth over the last 3 months, which is just madness. Awesome. I love it. And yes, high percentage growth. Timothy, thank you for that. To everyone else that voted, there is someone there, 550, Frank. You did mention that bank vals are a bit different. So does that mean that they get the prize or no? No, they don't. It's 490. I'm stirring you up. Let's keep going. Awesome. This is when I'll go for it, Frank. Go.
I was going to say the reason why this property has done well as well in this pocket, and it's grown pretty ridiculous, is in that pocket there where we purchased, there's only 6% of renters. Okay. So I always, if you're new to today, always harp on about, yes, you want a low level of renters in a pocket or in a suburb. From when you're looking at a suburb, 40% as a maximum of renters, and anything below is a great market. The average in this area is 31%. Okay. So quite low. Yep. But in this pocket, 6% of renters. So literally, it's just owner-occupied driven. No rental properties in this area that will come up, because if you've got 6% of people renting, the likelihood of a rental property coming up is quite low. Okay. And I'm talking about segments in a suburb. So you got the suburb, Calliope, certain pockets. We measure how we can measure certain areas that have more renters than others. And so we want to target less renters in that pocket. And so that was a very important metric. And then, of course, it's got very high income earners as well. The majority of people in that area, around 17%, are earning over $104,000 a year. So good income earners as well, especially for a regional town. And so I think these are things that add on to that capital growth in these areas, not just buy anywhere and you do all right. You will do all right in the short term, but if you look in the long term, if you've got an area with less renters in that area and rental properties rental demand starts to slow down and there's more rental properties on the market, the better quality properties in the better locations are always going to rent out much faster, even if the market slows down from a rental perspective.
Yep. I love it. I think this is just a bit of a boast now, bit of a how good is Fresh Start. This is what it looks like when a client goes under contract. As you can see, it's very much a family. Congrats, everyone gets involved. Everyone gets involved. And then this is what it looks like from a valuation point of view. We run valuations and we send these out to clients every 4 months. And then, as I mentioned to you guys before, Courtney just at the start of this week decided to jump back on for property number 2. The valuations were too good for her to go, hang on, I got to do this again. So that's what it looks like. But cool. Okay. The asset itself, the region itself, Gladstone, I think that said Townsville. The region itself, Gladstone. What's going on in Gladdy, Frank?
So over $15 billion of infrastructure projects getting brought in from all different types of different sectors, which is great. What the main important thing to look at is the GRP growth. So the gross regional product. That's how you measure if the economy is expanding or if it's contracting. Okay, so if you see the GRP increasing, means that the economy is expanding. So it's growing pretty rapidly since 2021. Every single year, it's just doing better and better and better. So like this is what you want to see. Now, the industries that are driving the economy, it's very diverse. Okay, you've got a lot of industries that are greater than the state average. You got manufacturing, which is the main dominator, construction, healthcare, retail, trades, transportation, warehousing as well. You got accommodation, food services, which is your tourism, and then you got administration jobs also. So quite diverse, okay, in different sectors, which is awesome. It's got 2 universities as well in Gladstone, so it's big on that. It's got a big port upgrade, which is about $760 million getting spent on the port. The new school in Calliope. Heaps of money getting spent on renewable energy projects. It's got a tourism plan, like $1.2 billion. And it's got all these resorts getting developed in the area and new golf course, et cetera, et cetera. So like the list is huge. And so this affects the economy, of course, because of creating more jobs and people migrating there. One of the big things that has changed in the last 12 months as well, internal migration has increased. So a lot of people been leaving other parts around Australia, migrating there to Townsville. And of course, it's actually a beautiful place. It's the start of the Great Barrier Reef. So there's tourism there because of that. And that it doesn't, if you got resorts building new resorts in a new region like Gladstone, that's saying something. They're not, they're going out, they're doing a lot of research. They're spending billions of dollars on these big high rise, resorts. They'll be doing it for a reason. And so that there gives us confidence as well what's going on and the economy changing. Of course, it's had a bit of a flack in the past because it's done, it's gone up and then gone down. Okay, and there was a lot of reasons behind that of what happened. Mm-hmm. I can touch on that if we've got time, but that's changed and we've got a diverse economy since then.
Well, I think this is important, right? Because I think there's a few things. And yes, I would like you to actually touch on that because people hear Gladstone or people hear of regions that they have not ever heard of, and they think regional town. When the sandstorm goes over the sand, and there's cowboys floating around. That is not the case with this, right? From a data perspective, but also from a physical. Like this is a city. There's billions and billions. And I think you mentioning there's universities in there, and it's next to the Great Barrier Reef. There's massive internal migration actually occurring there. I think it's important to actually understand that. I really, really do think it is important for people to understand that. Do you want to quickly touch on, I guess, what the difference is between Gladstone of 15 years ago compared to the Gladstone now? And then I want to touch on just from an average point of view, I want to touch on something else. But if you want to fire away on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so back in the day, there's I think there's 2 refineries there. So what happened was there was a big development came in, and what happened was they were spending billions of dollars in I guess you can call it the mining sector. Okay, gotcha. And what happened was they were spending all this money just on one sector. Okay,
gotcha.
They done this, and what it was doing, it was creating more jobs, people migrating there. So what happened was the housing market was doing extremely well. They started building a lot of properties. They built, hundreds of properties every single year. Mm-hmm. And then with that, they canned the job. Okay, so the job folded after a couple, 2-3 years, and then all of a sudden you got all these buildings, building all these new houses, sorry, I should say, getting built, and all of a sudden there's an oversupply of property. So, if you look at Gladstone, compare it to say Rockhampton, Mackay and Rockhampton are a little bit older cities, and there's a lot more older properties like the Queenslanders that you see. You do have that in Gladstone, but not as much. You can get a lot of low set brick homes and homes that are built in 2012 and 13 and 2005, etc. So that's what happened during that time. And so, copped a lot of flack because the property market, just went down and it didn't perform. But that has changed over many of years of the government investing in the economy. Okay. They don't build 2 universities in Gladstone for no reason. The population has been increasing. The GRP has been increasing. You look at things happening now from a tourism perspective, that has helped a lot also. So I think it's one of those places now that's starting to become a beautiful place because it's on the coast as well. It's not too inland. So yeah, that's what's happened, and now it's changed.
Cool. I appreciate it. I think and one more thing. What's the go for Courtney for this next purchase that we're going into?
So when people start investing, they get a bit caught up. They get some equity, and it's their first time. They go for the second one, and they want to start changing the strategy. Go out there. Let's go buy Airbnb and get some cash flow coming in because this property is negative gearing. Oh, let's go do a rooming house. Or let's go do granny flats. And and clients say this to me, and it might be their second purchase. And I say to them, just hang on a sec. Your property's done extremely well. You've just made 100 grand, if not more, if you had to sell it today. Why would you change the strategy? Okay. This sounds boring, but just hold off. Why don't change it if it's not broken? Okay.
Yep.
So we're just doing the same thing, going back out there, buying same sort of, asset, same growth, same strategy, rinse and repeat. Okay. We need to build up the base, build up more equity, get more equity. You can't save for everyone here listening. It's even myself, save 100 grand in a year is virtually, I wouldn't say it's impossible. It's hard. It's hard for people, if you work and you get a job and you're earning 100 grand a year, or you're earning 150 or 200 grand, to save 100 grand is virtually nearly impossible. Okay. If you're a business owner, maybe it's a little different, but what I'm trying to say is she just made that. So why try and change the strategy? So all we're doing is going back out there, doing the same thing, rinse and repeat. The idea is we want to keep getting these type of growth assets in our portfolio, foundational properties. You probably heard of them. And then we're probably going to get to a point where we get to say 4 or 5 properties, depending on where her borrowing capacity allows us to get to. If we do find a limit where we can't keep pushing, okay, and we've exhausted all our options from should we go into a trust or a company or whatever we should do for the structure of the portfolio, then we're going to be looking at, okay, where are some of these properties in their growth phases? Because eventually Gladstone is going to slow down, okay? And we're probably going to be looking at selling Gladstone in the top of the market, use that equity, reinvest it into another property, okay? And when you reinvest it into another property, you put down your 10% deposit, you got all this cash that you've made. We're going to be looking to get into more property or utilize that in a way where we can put into offset accounts. And she actually will have positive cash flow if we do decide to put the remaining cash in the offset accounts. So these are some things that we're just, still early days. Just work on the plan, keep focused, and just keep doing what we're doing.
Cool. I want to touch on that last part because I actually had a conversation with a gentleman in this who's watching, I think right now, if he's still watching, about exactly this, right? He essentially sent me a video of Melbourne. Melbourne is going to once again become the dominant force in Australia. And our predictions with the data as well is the next 3-4 years, Melbourne will become again that leader again. I think the thing that people somewhat forget, and what I'm touching on, Frank, is the example that you just said. We will sell that asset when it comes down to the peak of the market. I think the thing that people forget is over a 30-year period, property pretty much averages out to be the same, anywhere from 6 to 9% average growth year on year over a longer period of time. Where it really differs is over a 10-year period, whereby a region like your Gladstone is probably going to do 150 to 200% over a 10-year period, right? Whereas Melbourne, you bought a property 4 years ago in Melbourne, an example. Over a 10-year period, Melbourne might only do 40%, 50%. That's where it really, really differs. So going in with the strategy for Courtney, where she's bought a property at the perfect time, property one, property at the perfect time, property two, next property, let's be honest, she's going to buy at the perfect time as well. Her average growth over that 10-year period, it might be 200%. Properties might triple in value over a 10-year period. Being able to sell those assets and get into other assets and do all those things, that is where it really differentiates a great investor from a, just maybe even a half-decent investor or maybe not even really a good investor at all. People are just worried about got to buy properties in your capital cities because it always goes well and it always goes great. Yes, it does. And holding assets for 30 years' time, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. But that's buying property and holding it for 50 years, that doesn't make you a great investor. Picking the best markets in the country at the perfect time makes you an excellent investor, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong.
And look, I do agree. If you hold it, look, for 30 years, you always look back and you'd be like, for example, I can use my mum for example. She bought a house for 100 grand in Melbourne, 8Ks from the CBD of Melbourne. Today, they're probably worth, say, 1.5 million. You look back and you're like, oh my God, it's 15x. Okay. And that's great. But the Melbourne has gone through times where it's slowed down. And I want to give you an example. If we go back to 2002 to 2008, the market done pretty well around Australia, not everywhere in Australia. But during that 6-year window, okay, you had places like the one that dominated was Busselton. If you know what Busselton is in WA, it's a beautiful, part of the world. It's really based on tourism. Okay, it grew by 202%. Okay, which is huge. Yeah, places like Townsville grew by 168%. So Hobart, 140%. So you get the gist. A lot of places, more than double. Melbourne grew by 66% during that time from 2002 to 2008. Sydney grew by 26%. So you would have lost if you invested in Melbourne and Sydney during that time. Like during that window, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't release equity to go buy another property. You're relying on yourself having to save up for a deposit and go buy another property. So like these are things that, it's just a matter of course, it's hard to pick the bottom. It's hard to pick the top. Okay. But you do this over and over again. You can kind of say, okay, we're getting close to the top. Let's reinvest into a new market. We've got all this equity and do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Okay. And that's what we do. And I think it works out well because you've got all this cash left over that you can use to put into your offset accounts and, utilize by paying less interest and having higher income coming from that property because you've got it on interest only. Okay. And I think we can talk about this maybe more another day, but it's pretty cool to paint a picture what it looks like. If you keep a property for over 5 years, you got 300 grand worth of equity. If you took out that 300 grand of equity, you have to pay interest on it. So why don't sell it, put 100 grand into a new house, put 200 grand in the offset account, bang, you'll be making positive cash flow from day one. Do the same thing over and over again. You do that once, let's say you buy 3 properties and in 5 years time you do that, you're going to have probably close towards 30, 40 grand coming in of passive income and do it again. And do it again and do it again, it really, really stacks up and you can start to see this strategy really work.
Yeah. And on top of that, which I think is equally as important, that actually works for people that run into those borrowing capacity issues, right? Because obviously having $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of extra income, you take Courtney, for example, well, that's potentially 50% extra of her income that she's now getting. And the banks are now looking at going, of course, we're going to continue lending to Courtney. So, Frank, I think we'll leave it at that because that's 30 minutes. I'm going to leave something here because there's been a few things. Would you guys advise on when to sell at the right time and cash out? Absolutely, Gonzalo. Yes, absolutely we will. So part of the strategy, looking forward to the dinner as well, Gonzalo, but part of the strategy for us is, absolutely, strategizing throughout the entire journey, whether it's a 15-year journey, a 20-year journey, a 5-year journey, actually understanding and going, cool, this is what it looks like if it sells, this is what it looks like if we don't sell, so on and so forth. But absolutely we will. I'm going to leave, me too, my friend, I absolutely am. I'm going to leave a little link here because we've actually touched on a few things here and I keep getting a kick in the ass from our marketing or sales team that we don't promote ourselves enough. I'm going to promote ourselves, and I'm not even promoting ourselves. You guys do what you want. We've touched on a new region. We've also touched on this selling thing. And that's really just the strategy, right? If you guys want to discuss with our team strategy around selling and reinvesting and whatnot, or some of these new regions, click on that link. I've just put it in there. You'll have a chat to Mr. Alex, who's a very friendly person. He loves speaking to people, loves helping people. So that's it, Frank. I'm going to finish it there. 6:30. I'm going to have some dinner.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you for everyone joining. I guess if you got some value, please just give us a like right now, because it means that people are watching this and other people will see it and get value from it, and hopefully you've learned something new and different as well.
Absolutely. And it also shows us that this is actually valued, and we will continue to do it. So if you do, thank you, Gonzalo, give this a big like. And I don't know if we're going to start changing up. We'll see what the team says. If we are going to start changing these up, I think people do like the analysis side of things, but I think we could maybe start changing it up. But anyway, we will see you in 2 weeks' time. We will not be talking about the region, but to those potentially who want to click on that link, feel free. We may touch on the region. I don't know. We'll see how angry Frank gets. Aaron, thank you. Rawad, thank you. Guys, thank you. Have a beautiful night.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.